Hey everybody, welcome to my channel, Kindred Souls of Brooklyn in Sarasota. And I thought today I'd do a little bit of a different video, talking about something that doesn't usually happen, the closing of Walt Disney World. And it happened in 2020, and I was there because I was working it. And I thought it might make for an interesting story, how Walt Disney World was closed for 4 months, and who were the people who actually protected it. And I was one of them, was blessed enough to be one of those people. And I thought it would make for a very interesting video, so stay tuned, and I hope you enjoy the video. So just a really quick introduction. I have over 10 years of experience working with the Disney company. Not working with them currently. I probably will definitely do it again. But essentially, just a quick, I'll put some pictures up over here real quick. Basically, Disney Guest Relations, as a trainer, Walt Disney World Security as a trainer, Disney lead as a merchandise lead in the Disney store in Manhattan, New York City. So at the flagship store, and also a super fan, family and I, for our whole entire life. We lived in the town of Celebration for better part of 10 years as well. So a lot of experience there. My home base was always Magic Kingdom when I was working in Florida, which was most of the time. So here's some pictures of me right here in the different guises. Always me, but different costumes of Disney. So how this started was someone asked me the other day what my most prized possession was. And of course I said to myself, I'm going to show you two things real quick and I'm going to get into the video. My first thought was my son's guitar, and I'll show you this right now. My son Matthew, we lost him in Orlando in 2019. He was a really fine musician. This was his favorite guitar. He called it Angus. But this was Matt's guitar. You know, I'll put his picture up over here. But he loved this guitar. I mean, he was a very good musician, and this was his favorite one, Angus. So here's this one. And then I thought of this watch right here that my father gave me in 1984 when I graduated from Bishop Ford Central Catholic High School. Here it is, 1984 to how many years later, to 2025. It's a Seiko. My dad was a watchmaker, so of course it was put together correctly. But I thought about these things and I said, well, these are two possessions that I really hold very, very dear. So then I got to think and I said, well, what is it that I have that's like really something that I've gotten personally that I really hold very dear? And I thought of it, and I'm going to show it to you right now. And what it is we at the Magic Kingdom, we fly the flag every single day. We fly from, sunrise to sunset, and we adhere to the flag rules. And so essentially, while Disney was closed from March 20th all the way up to July 20th, we kept the flag flying out. Now, when I was on security as a trainer, I was on the flag team, and what that meant was every morning someone brought the flag up. I worked afternoons, so I typically was on the team that folded it at the end of the day. You've probably seen it. It's a great ceremony. And so when we got back to, after the 4 months that Disney was closed, and I'm going to tell you a story about the park being closed. I know this is a little long of an introduction, but I just wanted to give it a background. After we had reopened after 4 months, and God, it must have been, I don't know if it's about a year later. The date is on here. I'll show you the date. We got this award, and it was basically, for those of us who were doing it, for keeping the flag flying during the closure at Walt Disney World. And in this video, I'm going to explain to you how significant that was and why this award was so significant to me, because Disney has always been such a big part of my life. And the fact that I protected something that was so dear to me and so many people around the world really meant something to me. So when I got this award, this to me is my most prized possession. And I'm going to show it to you right now. So I've always been meaning to put this into a frame or something like that, but I just kind of don't want to take it out of its original jacket. These are some of Carrie's Halloween decorations she's going to be putting out. So this is basically it right here. I'm going to show you here. And National Society for the Daughters of American Revolution, the Flag of the United States of America Committee, Certificate Award for me. Proper use, correct display, and patriotic presentation of the flag of the United States of America. It was given on June 14, 2021. But this is the award, or this is the thing that I hold most dear. And without any further delay, I'm going to talk to you about how it was working the Magic Kingdom during the flag closure, during the park closure. So how strange was it to have Walt Disney World closed for those 4 months? Well, extremely so. There were many that thought it would never happen. I'll never forget exactly where I was. I was on the little street, and the name of the street escapes me for some reason, but it's the little street when you go up Main Street right across from the Emporium, and we used to hold our morning meetings there outside. And I remember one of the senior managers coming out that particular morning and saying, yeah, it's going to happen. We're going to be closing all the parks. We are going to be letting a lot of people, putting them on furlough. And we're going to be asking a lot of other people to stay and help protect the park. And that's where it hit. And they announced the dates of March 20th as was going to be the first date of when everything was going to close. And I can't tell you the amount of bedlam that happened, you know, in terms of not really inside the park in a bedlam sense, but like in terms of the guests. I mean, people just couldn't believe it. And I'll tell you, one of the things which I remember vividly was hearing about, I have a couple of friends who worked over at the French Quarter, and people were rushing over to buy beignets. They were getting the last of the beignets because nobody knew when these parks were going to open up again. And people were literally rushing over there to grab these last beignets. And, you know, that was one of the things that stood out in my mind. And then after that, they had selected a team to stay behind, and they divvied up teams to different areas. But the Magic Kingdom was always my baby. I had worked Magic Kingdom since I had started at Disney in 2003, and I was really, really fortunate to be blessed to be, I keep using that word, but in 2008, I was chosen to work on a thing called the Dream Squad, and went through a couple of interviews and literally had the interview of my life, and I was chosen to be a trainer on this program called the Year of a Million Dreams. And what that meant was I got to pretty much give out the Castle Suite every single day with a group of the most amazing individuals I've ever worked with. And we did that for about 18 months. And heavy guest contact, that's a video for another day. But with that in mind, I knew the Magic Kingdom very, very well. I loved my job working at Disney. They knew that. And I was a trainer. So I was one of the people who was picked to stay and help protect the park literally during mid-shift, as we call it. You know, Disney has 3 shifts. You have morning shift, you have mid-shift, you have graveyard shift. So my shift typically was, you know, 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon till 11, 12 o'clock at night, whatever time that we were finished. And, you know, that's what it was. But to emphasize how strange this was, and you've probably heard enough of me talking. I'm going to show you some B-roll footage because I do have a YouTube channel, if you know, because you're on it right now. Just so you don't have to look at me talk for another 8 or 10 minutes, right? Okay, thanks for holding on this far. I'm going to show you some B-roll footage that I've taken myself. And while I show you that footage, I'm going to tell you the stories of how it really was working during that time, which was very, very strange and odd. So thanks for staying by so far. And the rest is going to be my B footage and me talking through it. Thanks. I just thought it would be nice to just set up a background for, you know, because sometimes on a YouTube channel, you get people, oh, what does this guy know? He doesn't know that, whatever. So I just want to kind of establish that. Those of you who know me know that, you know, I bleed Disney and I drink Coca-Cola. So it's like, hey, you know, we know it's the real deal. But I just wanted to set that up and kind of relive some of that. So with no further ado, here it is. And hope you enjoy it. So I thought I'd show you some B-roll footage of the Rivers of America. I had taken this over the summer. So anyway, so let's talk about the closure. So first off, a strange thing that happened during the closure was that we had to protect the park from people who were reportedly going to come in and take videos while the park was closed. There was this guy named Sincere, was his last name, and he was known, I don't know what happened to him since, but he was known for coming into the parks, Disney, other parks, when they were closed and doing videos. So we used to literally walk all around the park. Now, you got to realize something. How strange is it for nobody to be in the Magic Kingdom? There's never a point like that. You know, one of the most fascinating things about being on Dream Squad and giving out the Castle Suite and the feedback that we got from the people we gave that to was how much they enjoyed being in the park overnight. A little statistic you might not know, about 5,000 cast members come into the Magic Kingdom every single night, and they work overnight, and they work painting and cleaning and doing everything that you know, Walt Disney was all about the guests not seeing the real experience. And they come in at night and there's a lot going on. So even if you do work at night in the Magic Kingdom, it is never quiet. There's always things going on. And you would be fascinated that they bring dump trucks up Main Street. They open up the gate. And dump trucks come up there, cranes. you wouldn't believe what comes up and down Main Street when it's closed during the night. And so for it to be closed is really very, very different, and for it to be quiet. Now, another thing that I remember is going around. Now, the ducks that hang out all around the park, these ducks their cholesterol must have gone down probably about 100 points each, because all those ducks do at Casey's is eat hot dogs, and around the park they eat popcorn. Well, these poor ducks weren't getting any of that fast food. So we used to bring in like bird seed for them, and Disney would feed them too, but we used to bring in some bird seed and give them to them and try to give them some healthy things. But for those 4 months, I guarantee that cholesterol went down, and they were like hungry. So as well as that, what was strange about working the kingdom during those times was that there was no landscaping being done. So nature was taking over in the Magic Kingdom. There were things that were overgrown. I mean, Walt Disney would have been like horrified seeing like the grass growing through things. And I know 4 months doesn't sound like a lot of time to you, especially if you're coming from like New York or a cold weather area. But once you start living in Florida, and I learned this in 2003 when we moved down here, how fast the grass grows. I mean, in Celebration, I had the lawn out front. My God, it was like $200 a month or something back then. And the grass grows really, really quick. So in about a month or so time, the place was tremendously overgrown. And that was very strange. So, it was so many odd things that happened. I remember we used to patrol, there's me. I remember patrolling at the front of the park, and this family drove up in a station wagon. Sounds like something out of Chevy Chase, right? Out of Vacation. And they drove up and they said, please, we'll give you $500. And I said, $500 for what? And they're like, oh, we know the parks are closed, but all we want to do is look at the castle. The world is going crazy. There's toilet paper shortages. There's things that are just, not normal. Can we just walk up Main Street and just look at the castle? We don't even have to walk up. We just want to look at it. And I'm like, hey, I'm really sorry. I can't do that. But I will tell you the castle is standing. It's strong. There's no issues. There's no problems. So these were the kind of things that you would face and you would deal with every single day. People would show up at the front of the park and they just wanted to see that the place was still standing, because Walt Disney World means so much to so many people. And, for me working there, having heavy guest contact, all the jobs that I've had at Disney, or roles as we call them, have been heavy contact roles. Security, guest relations, merchandise, and working the park, especially working at Magic Kingdom. I've heard some incredible stories. People with double knee replacements. They said their inspiration for getting healed up was walking up, to Main Street. The people who drop ashes in the park, the loved ones want to be there forever. I mean, there's so many things that you hear of. People with quadruple bypasses. They go through murder and hell and all kinds of things just to be back at Disney. If you look at, you go to a wake, you'll see how many people, one more trip to Disney. That's like their last picture. So it means so much to so many people. Here's some Rivers of America, what it looks like currently. It means so much to so many people that you just can't really believe it till you really, and you know it. I don't have to really tell you how much Disney means. I mean, it's a part of everybody's life. And, that's what it is. But, so working that, so I could tell you that we had about 20 people per shift working inside the Magic Kingdom. And we had about 4 police officers, about 16 security officers, and we would walk around the park, and we literally, it was a dream. It was so strange. I mean, first off, my head was swimming. It's still swimming, but getting over my son's death, which happened in August of 2019, this wasn't even a year yet, and I had a lot of time to reflect and think and walk. But walking was the thing. I think I was probably the thinnest I was in a long time between what happened with my son and walking about 14 miles a day here. I was just like a walking fool. We were able to go not on the ride because the rides weren't working, but we had to check every aspect of every single ride. We could walk, not really through the ride, but basically walk through enough where we could see what was going on to make sure nobody else was in there. A lot of times I did walk the ride because there were people who were reportedly in there, or there's, just so you know, not to do it, there's alarms on all of the Disney rides. They're called weighted alarms. So when you're in the, say, a dune buggy, right? If you get out of the dune buggy and step on whatever mat you're going to step on over there, the weight knows that it's a person's weight, and it's going to go off. So that was what would happen, and we would have to walk through the ride, and it was fascinating. And just walking by all of these things, it was like a modern marvels. And so while it was crazy and it was ridiculous, it was also fascinating at the same time. And you might say to yourself, well, hey, did you come in contact with any ghosts? Because everyone talks about George the Ghost on Pirates of the Caribbean. Me personally, I mean, I'd like to think of myself as a sensitive, and I am very aware of things like that and whatever. I, for one, I could tell you, oddly enough, you'd never believe it. The place where people talked about the most activity during the closure was the comedy laugh floor, which sounds really strange because you would think it would be somewhere else. But I have a lot of friends who didn't want to go into that during the night. And I went into it. It felt, and it was weird because it was closed, but I really didn't feel anything. But something is kind of true when someone who's been like a police officer for 25 years comes out and says, I don't want to go in there. It's, hey, people like that don't tend to make things up. And so anyway, that was the ghost thing. And there's supposedly a lady who appears at the All-Star Resort. She was, I think she was like a Jamaican housekeeper, and she passed away either on the property or whatever. Supposedly she comes around and visits people. She'll be like looking in the mirror, or you'll feel her presence. But that's about it for the ghost part of it. I know this isn't a ghost video because I've done one of those. But anyway, yeah, so it was just really amazing and crazy. Another interesting thing was sorry. Still filming. So I'm filming right off of my video, right? My son would probably kill me for that, but he would never kill me. He loved me so much. Anyway, I had a crazy friend who was working Magic Kingdom with me during that time, who, out of some kind of craziness, decided to buy something out of the vending machine. And because he didn't realize that the electric was off, or that it had been off and on intermittently. So what did this guy do? He bought a small container of chocolate milk. Well, let me tell you, this guy he spent most of the day in the bathroom after that. And we were like, you drank what out of the machine? Don't you remember? They said the electric's been on and off. Yeah, I remembered it now. So anyway, that was a strange thing too, seeing all expiration dates and vending machines, and having to bring your lunch there was no Mouseketeria open. None of that stuff was going on. It was literally a skeleton crew walking all around Magic Kingdom, and all the parks were like that. But because I worked Magic Kingdom, this is the story that I'm telling you, my experience from working inside Magic Kingdom during that time. So some more B-roll footage for you. This was the last year's Mickey's Not So Scary. So I'm inviting everybody to tune in. On October 14th, you're going to see more of these kind of things. We're doing our annual fundraiser for the Waffles Foundation, which is our foundation where we donate musical instruments to kids who can't afford to play. And I'm going to be going around, and you'll be able to write into me during the live podcast. So anyway, some more interesting facts about working during that time frame was one of my favorite things to do, and because we were watching out for this guy Sincere, was a friend of mine, a big shout out to him. And anyway, he had the idea of walking the train tracks all around the Magic Kingdom. So what we started doing was we used to walk, just imagine, the Walt Disney World Railroad, right? And, you go around on the train. We used to walk it all around the park. And I don't remember, it was a mile and, I don't remember how much the Grand Circle Tour was, but we used to walk it. And big shout out to my friend Tim. He was in much better shape than me. He was in the military and a younger man, and but I was able to keep up with him, so that was a good thing. But we used to walk it, and it was a great way of just coming up behind people if they were in there and seeing them, and they wouldn't expect you walking the train tracks. So, yeah, we had found a few people going through there. That might be your next question, but it wasn't that many. We had a good system there and good things in place, and no one really destroyed anything. Nothing ever got broken or stolen that we know of. It was just more about people just trying to come in and take a look and see what was going on during the closure. So it was really interesting, like I said, and just walking up and down and going around and just being there, it was kind of like a strange thing and an amazing thing all at the same time. And and the parks opened up again July 20th, and when that happened, I mean, nothing was the same for a long, long time. We had to wear masks in the park, and there was people the guests had to wear masks coming in, so that certainly wasn't fun. But it was still nice just seeing the park open up again after such a long. I mean, 4 months feel like forever. It really, really did. And another thing, and this will be a video all in of itself. Another thing I did during this time frame was I worked the NBA bubble. So, and they were encouraging us to get COVID tested as much as possible. It was right on property. And so essentially, long story short, I have a W-2 form from the NBA because they were paying for it, and they asked us to get COVID tested like 4 times a week. And every time that we did, we got a $50 gift certificate from a gift card from Target or Walmart, whatever we wanted. And after you get to $2,000, you got to get taxed on it. So I think I was at about $3,000 at that point. I'd be like, bring it on. Stick that swab up in my nose. I used to come home and Kerry would be like, hey, what'd you get today? I got Target today. Okay. This guy's got a great costume. Look at that. Amazing. From the Haunted Mansion, right? So, so I hope you're enjoying the video. Like I said, I wanted to do this and just really emphasize what it really was to really work during that time frame and how strange it really was and how it was. And it's something that hopefully will never, ever happen again. I never want to see that happen again. But it was just one of those things that you live through. And, the older you get, the more you realize that, life is really funny, that there's lots of things that happen in life and things that you can't control and things that you find yourself in the middle of. And, I think the old song says, in order to get to heaven, you got to go through hell. And much of this was hell. Many people were lost. Lots of problems. You might be asking too about the COVID shot. And yes, I had to get the COVID shot to keep working at Disney, which they forced, us to do. So, again, I really didn't have a dog in the fight at that point. My son had passed away and I was just, whatever, you know what I mean? I want to keep working at Disney. This was my mental therapy more than anything. So a lot of people did leave though. A lot of cast members refused to get the COVID shot. And many, many good people who worked for the company for a really long time ended up leaving. But that's a personal choice thing. Again, I don't get political on my channel. And but like I said, I did get it. That was what was required to stay working at Disney. And I did it because, like I said, for me, I needed this therapy after my son's departure. And I felt that, this was always so dear to our family, especially the Magic Kingdom. I wanted to protect it. It was almost like a family. It's almost like a family member to me. That's how I feel. All right, you can see my channels. Sorry about that. You can see my channels monetized. Here's Tiana's Bayou, which was Splash Mountain, was the most popular ride in the world. They changed it. Still a pretty good ride. Hello to you too. Thanks for showing up on the channel. The channel is monetized. So when you're watching this channel, just know that any ad that you watch, all the proceeds that I get from this channel, I put toward our foundation. So, and if you're wondering about, just a quick thing, I know we're on Magic Kingdom, but I'm just trying to anticipate what people might ask during the comment section. In order to monetize your channel, you need 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours for the entire year. And then, you're welcome. And then YouTube will look at your channel, and they usually pass your channel as long as you don't have a ridiculous channel. like with some stupid content that, I don't even have to say what it would be. But if you're running like regular, normal content, they'll pass it, and you go on from there. And once your videos are look at that, once your videos go on there, you get paid by people watching the ads. So that's how that works. And I highly, highly recommend you to start a YouTube channel. It's free. It's a wonderful time capsule. Look at that castle, how beautiful it is. It's a beautiful time. It's a great time capsule. So what it is I've had the channel since Matt moved to Birmingham, Alabama. And that was around 2016, right? So it's an amazing time capsule. So in that time, what's happened? Matt has passed away. My father has passed away. My brother-in-law Tom has passed away. Our dog Curly has passed away. And I have about 950 videos or something. But you go back on it and you look at, you see people normally. You see them like on a vacation. You see them talking. You see them doing the things. I highly recommend it. It's a great time capsule. Yeah, it's sad. Kerry can't watch it. She's, for me, it helps me mentally. For Kerry, it's hard for her to watch it, but everybody's different. And if you're the type of person like me that you just, want to see people and hear them talk and maybe hear a joke or something that they're going to be saying, it's really a spectacular thing. And yeah, so as you're seeing here, this is Mickey's Not So Scary. You'll be able to tune on this on the 14th. And this is to me the best event of the year that Disney does. If you've never done it, or if you say, hey, Disney hasn't changed anything, and you've never done this event, this is the event to go to. It's special parade. They put live actors on Pirates of the Caribbean and Haunted Mansion, candy, different kind of food and snacks. Just the costumes alone are incredible from the people coming in, and it's just amazing. At this particular point, I was going down Main Street, so some of these people were coming in for the last minute. These parties essentially start at 7 o'clock at night, and what they do is they funnel the regular day host, the day guest out, and that's why you see a lot of people leaving. And on the bypass on the left, behind Main Street, which is another cool reason to come, if you've never seen that bypass, a little backstage magic, you get to walk in behind the Magic Kingdom, behind Main Street. There it is. There's Center Street. There we go. Hold on a second, right? So there it is. I stopped my video. That's Center Street. That is where we had our morning meetings. If you go straight back there, there's a couple of doors there. Those doors go directly out onto the bypass, and the bypass leads into what's called Park 1, which is, there's 3 parking lots at Disney, or 3 entrances into Disney. That's Park 1. That is the entrance that's closest to Space Mountain and the Contemporary side. And if you go out there, so if you work for Disney, when I worked security, our office is right above here. It's MO6, they call it. And our vehicles are parked in that parking lot. So if you work security and you're doing a motor unit that day, you're going out from the other side and into Park 1 and collecting your vehicle and going on patrol. So yeah, more of the Magic Kingdom there. So yeah, I know this is a 30-minute video and it's a long video, and you know me, I always run off at the mouth especially when it comes to Disney and telling stories. But I hope you enjoyed the video. Please let me know if you'd like me to do more of these, or what you got from it, or if you have another question about anything. I'll just run it back from the beginning again while I'm finishing this. Yeah, if you have any questions about anything, or you want to see more of these, or any specific questions about the closure or what went on, something that I might have missed. I try to do different things on the channel, and always looking for new adventurous things to do and talk about Disney, and really just, I don't know, share stories. I'm a storyteller, and I wish I was a storyteller as good as my dad. My dad was such a great, great storyteller. He was one of the most interesting people I've ever known in my entire life, and just a good father, a good man, and boy, could he tell a story. You felt like you were there. If you couldn't go to a wedding and you were sick, he would just tell a story in such a way. I mean, the old, Arabic people, the Lebanese people, they just had a way, and the old World War II people, the greatest generation, right? They just had a way of telling stories and stuff. But anyway, I kind of have a little bit of that, the gumption to do it, but I think I might get a little long-winded. But, you all know that if you watch my channel. But just know it's done with a lot of love. And I think when I come back, if there is a way of coming back, I'd probably be a teacher in the next life. I've always loved the trainer role and never really did the teacher thing, but I don't know. Just love talking and teaching and training and sharing, and I don't know. People would say you'd want to be a bartender too, but nah, I don't think so. Not after losing Matt at that rooftop bar. So anyway, I thought these costumes were great. They really did a great job. But anyway, no, that's not the security costume that you have to wear at the Magic Kingdom. Carrie loved these two costumes. Carrie's not often that animated unless she's hungry, but she had a big enjoyment of that. So anyway, thanks for joining me on this different kind of video. I really appreciate you. It's one of my friends that I used to work with. He's one of the maintenance guys at Magic Kingdom. He's got a really good job. Went through the journeyman program. Anyway, I'll see you in the next video. Hope you enjoyed it. And tune in next time for some more Disney fun, Carrie fun, Al fun. Hope you have a wonderful day. Have a magical day. See you real soon. Bye.